Okay.
Full meeting to order.
New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 109A, provides that the Gaming Facility Location Board shall consist of 5 members appointed by the New York State Gaming Commission. 5 members having been appointed by the Commission affords the Board an ability to establish a quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the Board is now called to order. Establishment of a quorum requires 3 members being present. Please indicate your name when it is called. Paul Francis.
Present.
Dennis Glazer.
Present.
Kevin Law.
Here.
Stuart Rabinowitz.
Present.
William Thompson. Chairman Law.
Thank you. Robert, for the record, Board Member Bill Thompson is excused. We tried to coordinate all of our schedules, and it's very difficult to schedule 5 people's schedule, and we had to go with a date that worked for 4 of us, and so he apologized. He was available for other dates, but trying to get us all together. To get this done, we would have been into mid-March before all 5 of us were together. Bill is excused and apologizes for not being here. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes from January 13th, 2015, which were previously circulated. Take a motion to entertain that by Dennis, seconded by Paul. Any comments, revisions, or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A motion to approve the minutes carries. Our first item on the agenda is the consideration of the gaming facility location board's report and recommendations relative to the request for applications to develop and operate a gaming facility in New York State issued in 2014. As you're all aware, the board publicly announced its license recommendations on December 17, 2014, when we were in Albany. This report serves as the full record of the actions and determinations of the board. As you can see, the report is comprehensive, detailed, an exhaustive examination of the entire siting process. It sort of fully explains everything that we did, the rationale for why we did things, a summary of all the activities that we conducted, and overall rationale for our decisions. It is lengthy, but it's designed to sort of be a one-stop resource on the casino siting process and the decision, and thus it contains everything that we did, basically from the constitutional amendment that was approved by the voters, to the original request for applications, to the staff's public communications, to the public comments, everything else that we did, ultimately to the decision. And I'd really like, I know I speak on behalf of all of us, to thank the staff and commend the staff for pulling this together. This was no easy task. It was really a Herculean effort. First I want to thank all of my colleagues on the board. As volunteers, we took our job seriously. We put in hundreds of hours over the past year, on this process, whether it was reviewing, thousands of pages of documents, participating in public forums with the applicants, participating in multiple days of public hearings and public comment sessions. It was really a remarkable effort, so I thank my board members, and then certainly the staff, to the Gaming Commission, Rob and Lee and Ed and Brad and the whole team, Heather, it really, you guys did a terrific job, and we saw it firsthand, and we thank you for everything that you guys did for us. Because it was a very, very intensive, laborious process. So,
Amen.
Good. We all feel the same on that. I know I speak on behalf of all of you. Does anyone have any comments or concerns regarding the proposed, report that was circulated to us, and we had a chance to review and comment and make our suggestions on over the last month since we met January 13th. Well,
No.
no?
Move its approval.
I don't have a comment on this. I would just like to say, on behalf of the other commission members, what a great job Kevin Law has
Yes.
done as chair of this committee, of this board. This hasn't been the easiest board to chair for a variety of reasons, and Kevin always kept us on track, on mission, kept reminding us all the time what our job was, and dealt with a lot of difficult logistics. And I've seen a lot of chairs in my time, with a lot of different committees, and I don't know how anybody could have done a better job than Kevin.
Thank you very much, Stu. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you, Kevin.
And with that, I'll accept that as a motion by Stu to approve, seconded by Paul. Any other comments, revisions, additions to the report? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. And I spoke with, I vote as yes as well. I spoke with Bill Thompson, and he advised us that we don't allow for proxies, but he advised me on the phone that if he was here, he would also have supported and voted to adopt the report. So let Rob, the record, reflect that as well.
So in a real sense, it's unanimous.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so the adoption of the report is approved. Next,
It will be posted
Momentarily.
momentarily, available to the public.
Very good. Yeah, so, yeah, some preliminary copies have been prepared, and we'll direct staff to send them to all our, our state leaders and to the public. They'll be posted online.
Yes.
Right, so we save some trees and not print, what is this, about 800 pages?
Just about.
Yes, so let's put it online and be efficient when it comes to that. Next up on the agenda is the continuation of the discussion that we had in January regarding a potential issuance of a new request for applications limited to Zone 2, Region 5 in the Southern Tier region, both Southern Tier Finger Lakes region. As we know, the board made our decision on the first RFA on December 17th, 2014. Subsequently, we were asked to consider the issuance of a new RFA directed to the southern portion of Zone 2, Region 5. As we know, this is called the Southern Tier. As we mentioned at our last meeting, after some contemplation, we have come to the conclusion that we should honor that request, and we directed staff to begin preparing the RFA. The territory to be considered in the new process does not lie within an existing Indian gaming exclusivity zone, nor is it part of the gaming market of any of the three recommended casino gaming licenses bidders that we previously recommended. This offers a unique opportunity for a bid for just this territory. We ensure this by adding the fact that any new responses must demonstrate that they do not affect the new facilities that we have recommended. I think it's important to underscore that neither of the two previous bids was suitable for the award, and that at our last meeting, I stated that we would not necessarily recommend an award of a fourth license unless we saw something better than what we previously were presented with. And so I want to stress that that still holds true. As from certainly my perspective. I trust it's your perspectives as well. It's also important to note that our adoption of a new document today still requires the approval of the Gaming Commission before it can be released. So if we're inclined to approve the staff's preparation of the new RFA, that doesn't start a new procurement process. The Gaming Commission first has to adopt it and then issue it. So we'll keep that in mind. And so staff has created and circulated the draft for application for Zone 2, Region 5. And I would entertain, first I'll ask, do any of my colleagues have any thoughts, comments, or revisions or additions to that draft RFA? Stuart?
No, it's not about the draft RFA, but I want to emphasize, just for the record, that I agree completely with you on the accuracy of the decisions that we made the first time around, and that the two proposals from that, now what we've learned, or what I've learned, is the true southern tier. Neither one of those proposals was strong enough, in my opinion, to have a reasonable chance of succeeding in the way the legislature envisioned these things to succeed. And if the same ones come back in the same shape again, I want to second Kevin's notion that that I would not vote to approve them. And I also want to emphasize the importance of competition. And no, I don't believe anybody, I don't think the legislature or anybody else viewed this process as any one person or entity having an entitlement to this license without going through the process. And I think that competition, as always, tends to improve the situation for the public good, so that there's some pressure on the applicants to do their very, very best and perhaps to stretch. So I again encourage people, other proposals to come forward from the southern tier, so that when we make a recommendation, we can compare and know that whichever one we choose, we've done everything possible to make it the best for the people of the southern tier.
If any.
If any. If any.
I agree. Just looking back, recall, we never said that two casinos in the Finger Lakes Southern Tier region could not work. We made a decision that we thought the one we selected was the best out of the three.
It was. And the other thing I would just add to that is that I urge people who are concerned or have a different point of view to read the report that we just issued 10 minutes ago and understand factually why we chose the one we chose, which, as you said, by the way, was included by the legislature in the same region as, quote, the true southern tier, and why we didn't choose the others. And so far that information that reasoning has sort of been lost,
right,
in the various press reports and so on. And we're hoping that by putting out this report now, people will understand our reasons.
That's a good, that's a good point, Stu. Again, you look at this, and I'm glad it's finally completed, because people will finally see how much work we put into this, and that doesn't mean we're perfect, no, but it shows the amount of hard work we put into it, that we really did the best job we could do, and now it'll be out there.
As far as I'm concerned, it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And well, there'll always be Monday morning quarterbacks, but we know we did it. We know we did a great job.
I just want to make the one additional point, and that was that if we had found the Lago proposal wanting, for some of the same reasons we found the other proposals wanting, we might have issued no licenses, or recommended no licenses in that region.
Right, correct.
And only
It's
two.
not that we found Lago the best of the three and therefore selected it, but we also found Lago to meet the objectives of the statute, and the objectives as we saw them for success, because had Lago not met those objective criteria, in our view, I believe that we would have gone without a recommendation in the region if appropriate.
Right.
So I don't want to leave the wrong impression on that.
No, that's a good point. But with the item before us now, with the new RFA, I said it at the January meeting. If private companies are willing to submit bids for private investments, and they believe they can make something work without any taxpayer dollars being utilized, let's explore it. And so, so I'm happy to explore this new possibility and entertain the new RFA before us. And so I'll take a motion by Paul on that,
Yes.
and a second by Dennis. Any comments, revisions, or additions to the RFA? All in favor to make a recommendation to release the RFA to the Gaming Commission, who will then officially release it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? And again, speaking with our colleague Bill Thompson the other day, he advised me that if he was here, he would have also voted to approve the issuance of the new RFA. That matter is also approved. Is there any old business that any of the board members want to raise? Is there any new business, Rob, for us to take up?
There's none.
That really concludes our published agenda for the day. Any other items, folks, to bring up? Hearing none, I'll take a motion by Stu to adjourn, seconded by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
The meeting of the Gaming Facilities Location Board is adjourned. Thank you very much for your service, guys.
Thank you.
You.